Hello everyone, welcome back to a new Flesh and Blood video. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 decks to pick up at the end of November 2024 if you're looking to have a deck that's going to last you through a few months of the year and really compete at the highest level. Let's get straight into it, shall we? So, starting off, we've got Nu. So, Nu's a personal favourite of mine, and that is because I play Nu, and Nu is my deck. But other than that, the reason I choose to play Nu is because I think Nu's super consistent, and she's very strong for two main reasons. She has the ability to sort of go wide and have go again turns with levels of enlightenment that are really strong, as well as Hiss obviously having its effect where if you've pitched a blue, you get a slither. So I think the ability to go wide and so much disruption, Command and Conquer, Erase Phase, levels of enlightenment, just a nick with all these blues that disrupt the opponent so much. And my favorite card of all, absolute favorite, Mask of Recurring Nightmares. Love this card. It's probably my favorite card in the game at the moment, as long as I'm playing it, because I found that with 7, I don't play this exact list. This is not the list I choose to play, but this is the calling second one, and so I'm trying to bring you lists that have proven to work rather than my list, because if I brought you my list, I'd be running looking for a scrap and a bit more go again with red pick to pieces rather than Art of Desire body, and people are going to say that's bad, but I don't lose into Enigma as much as this deck probably would. I've right now I've got a 7-1 record into Enigma with my deck list. So if you're interested in that, I've actually just posted a video. The last video, you go check it out. In the link is my deck list for Nu if you want to try that out. But I think Nu is a great one to pick up, especially because if you want a deck that's going to last, you've got Command and Conquers in here, like Tunic, Balance of Justice, all these cards that you'll use in other decks as well. So if you choose not to like Nu, or in the future don't play her, as well as Warmongers, Diplomacy, and Levels of Enlightenment, these cards that go into other decks, you can just swap off Nu and play another deck with not too much cost. So I think she's great because of her consistency, her disruption, and her multiple game plans. Some heroes she can now race, like Dash without High Octane. Her game plan is to race Dash with lots of disruption and lots of damage, especially if you're on just an X. And then she can also fatigue. She has multiple win conditions consistently disrupting. It's a great hero. You essentially never play against a 5-card hand for any hero, because with Mask of Recurring Nightmares and your relevant on hits, they usually have to give a couple cards. So you never have to play against those full power turns, and I love the agency that Nu provides. So next one is Ira. I have to include Ira. Ira's a big favorite from me. I really like Ira. I don't love playing against Ira because it's really annoying having to block out Kodachis every turn, especially as a Nu. I had such a close game against an Ira earlier today. Unfortunately, didn't come out on top, but she's quite strong. I mean, Harmonized Kodachi into CNC for 7 is always going to be strong. And because of the cards in her deck, a lot of people that have already been playing Flesh and Blood already have the generics like the Weakest Link, Command and Conquer, and Light Strike, Tunic, all that stuff. And so Vambrace, all these generic cards that you don't actually have to put much money into it, and all those comes with a hefty price tag, 2,260 New Zealand dollars. The cards will last through almost every deck, at least expensive ones. So I think she's strong just because of her consistency. It's the same thing as Nu. She has a lot of agency. She just struggles into an Enigma, I think. Although the Kodachis do make it stronger because they struggle to keep water around. But especially the attack-based Enigmas, she definitely struggles in. Because the attack-based Enigmas, it's so hard to hit them, and then they still swing back for 9 with a Phantasmaclasm. It's just quite a good card. So this, I do recommend this. This 4 on the list for a reason, and it's because Ira's just always good. The thing about Ira is there's always going to be an Ira sneaking into the top 8 of almost every event, purely because of her consistency. So she's always going to be, she'll never go below A tier. She'll always be A or S tier. Well, probably not S tier unless they brought Art of War back, which they won't do. So she's always going to be at least A tier, and because of that consistency, you'll see her in lots of top 8s. I have to put her top 5. Next one is the Aurora. So I'm using Mercy Bickle's World Championship Osaka second list because it's proven to work on the biggest stage in Flesh and Blood. So I know there are lots of different builds for Aurora, but Aurora just does really strong things. She does consistent damage. She has instants to surprise your opponent. God in a Flash is just a great card. You do this whole loop thing. She's just Acilio, but better. Acilio does similar things. Arc Lightning. I did actually beat an Aurora earlier today with New because Bonds of Agony? They're all of their Arc Lightnings. And that was a pretty good feeling. It's a very strong card. And because of that card, and also Channel Lightning, being able to stay around for multiple turns with the pitching she does. It's a strong deck, consistent. As well as Runeblade just having so much equipment that's so strong. Literally countless legendary pieces of equipment. She has an entire legendary suite. And so much consistency. Consistent damage. Second place, obviously. It's the premier aggro deck to play. If you want to play aggro, you play this deck. So that's why it's a third. Super strong. Doesn't have too many LL points. You don't have to worry about her LLing early next year. Moving on. This is We Make Best Toolbox Floran. I'm a big fan of the We Make Best channel, and I'm a big fan of their Floran deck list. And you may be wondering why Floran has made this over Viserai, Viserai's... It's hard to argue against him being the best character in the game, best hero in the game right now. However, I don't recommend picking him up at the end of 2024 because he's at, 900 LL points? He's first in LL. He's going to be the next hero to LL. So I don't recommend picking him up just because you're not going to play him for very long. He might go out in the RTN season, literally. So if enough people play him, he's out in the RTN season in February. So I don't recommend picking him up. The great thing about this deck list, if you are looking to pick it up, it's super strong. You can just head over and watch the We Make Best video on it. It's very good. Consistent. The split damage is hard to block. And a lot of people don't know how to play against Floran, as well as the fact that if a deck gives you any amount of time to set up, you become the strongest hero in the game because of this ability that makes him so strong late game. If you're playing against a new, you just have such a good matchup because they take too long to get you. So they have to go really aggressive, super race, and so it's not as consistent. So Floran is great. I mean, these cards are so good. Felling of the Crown. There's another one, right? Plow Under. Like, the Unstoppable Disruption. These cards are expensive. They're expensive, but they're expensive for a reason. How much are they? Plow Under is 62 New Zealand dollars. And Felling of the Crown is 76 New Zealand dollars. Those are expensive cards, but they are so good. They are uninteractable disruption that you can't stop and play to Floran's game plan. It's just too strong. It's so strong, and that's why I've put him second. If you want to pick him up, I would really like to pick him up. I think I'm going to see if I can get the money to pick him up, because Floran is very strong. And finally, we have, of course, Enigma. The, obviously, World Championship deck was good. Lost the CYBs, but we've got this 5th place list from Osaka that doesn't run CYB and instead runs some Disruption, which I really like. This is great, as well as some attackers like Phantasmaclasm. 3 10,000 Year Reunion. This is the deck list that my testing partner uses, and it's strong. It's strong. I have been able to beat it with New, so maybe it does have some holes, but it's definitely very strong. And Enigma, I mean, I don't think there's much explained to. She's the best second format at the moment. However, she is at I think around 660 LL, so she might make it through half the year probably. But I wouldn't see her making it past Nationals if she does win Nationals. So Enigma, pick Enigma up. she's super strong. It's really between Floran and her for me if I was able to start over and pick any deck I wanted. And damn, this deck is strong. It does such strong things. It's so hard to damage her, and then you send Phantasmaclasm, all these Manifestation Mirror Guy, statistically the best card in the game right now. Right before Codex Frailty, which is second best card in the game. Manifestation Mirror Guy, best card in the game. When it has access to the best card in the game, some of the best equipment in the game, it is number 1 for me, and I do think you should play it. Traverse getting so much value, you just chuck it in front, and you play Manifestations, 2 Nick and swing for 8. It's so strong, too strong. So yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you do want to see more like this, I'm planning to put one of these out every single month to update you guys on how it's going. Next month, we're going to see Jarl coming in, see how that affects the top 5. I'd really like him to be top 5. Although Ice Heroes, I wasn't a fan of Icelander and such, he is quite fun. He seems quite cool, and I'm glad he's in an armor deck. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. 95% of you guys watching these videos aren't subscribed. So if all of you subscribe, I'd be monetized right away. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.